Dave Freezer, BBC Look East. Welcome to Norwich, Jack. Hectic week. How's the mood in the camp?
Well, you said welcome. I've been here a while, so. But yeah, I know what you mean. The mood's okay. That was the focus. This week was trying to create some energy in training around the environment, and yeah, it's okay.
For you personally, a hectic week as well. So you had a golf day yesterday.
Yeah.
And you still going to run the marathon on Sunday?
Yes, I know I'm crazy. I had my golf day yesterday, which was obviously bad timing, but yeah, it was. I must say thank you to the guys that run it for me, because I was meant to be there in the morning. Obviously, I couldn't. I think I arrived there at 6:30 in the evening and had the last hour. But yeah, it was a great cause. It's something really, really close to my heart, and I thought it was important to show my face there and then get back to work.
Yeah, and I guess it's the same Sunday. It's of course close to your heart, that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And something. I remember actually when I got the job here, and I said to Ben and Yanz at the time, I need that Sunday. Fortunately, it's fallen on a match day +1 after a game. But yeah, that's going to be tough as well.
Yeah. Right, well, straight to it. Yanz and Glenn have gone. How surprised were you to see that they have left the club, given that there's been quite a lot of talk about the project and that it could take quite a long time for it to bed in?
Yeah, I think when you're well, this is my first sort of first experience of working for a head coach as a coach. And when you're in that environment and you experience that, especially in a league like the Championship, you don't really have time to think about things like that or what's happening, and you're in it and you prepare in one game, then the next game comes, and of course everyone knows that results haven't been good enough, and it's when you're so close to it, sometimes you don't feel it because you're really in it and you're focused on the next thing. I must say that I really enjoyed my time with Glenn and Johannes. When I came to the club, they were a big part of that reason. I believed in the way they saw the game. It's very similar to how I see the game. And yeah, when I got the job, I was full support and believed in the process or the strategy that you're talking about. And I think the club have made it clear that still goes on. And yeah, we'll see where that takes us.
You've known Ben Napper for quite a while already. Have you spoken with him quite a lot this week? Has he made clear what he's looking for from these 2 games?
Yeah, I think early in the week, I had a phone call with Ben on Tuesday, and we went from there. Really, I respected where Ben was in dealing with what was happening and managing that situation. So I knew what the group needed. When you're in it, as I said, you feel it and you're looking at it. So yeah, we spoke about the team and what's expected, but I also I knew what the team needed.
You yourself, you've been on the bench since October, been working closely with Glenn and Johannes. How much have you learned? How ready do you feel for this opportunity? And I suppose, to put it bluntly, is your name in the hat for the job going forward?
Yeah, I understand, and when I was thinking about this press conference, I understand that you guys were going to ask me that question, but I also hope you understand that I've been in that job, in this role for 2.5 days. But like you said, I made the decision to come here and leave Arsenal. I spent 2.5 years there as head coach of the under-18s. I wanted to do that. I thought that was important, part of my journey into coaching. And I didn't really want to leave Arsenal until I felt I was ready to have an impact in first team football. I think there was probably a few reports over the years. I was talking to this club, I was talking to that club. I spoke to clubs as part of my own coaching journey, so I wanted to speak to technical directors, I wanted to speak to sporting directors just to see how them conversations go and what's it like. But I had no intention of leaving Arsenal until I was ready to make an impact at this level. So with that in mind, I feel like I'm ready to be a head coach at this level, to have an impact, but also knowing that the next 2 games are really important, starting tomorrow, starting again Monday, seeing how we're going to plan the week and see where we go from there. So yes, I feel I'm ready, but my focus right now is on the next 2 games.
So what's the message to the players then? Clearly the fans have already been saying, you need to show pride, show you're not on the beach and all those sort of things. How do you sort of lift them for these final 2 and get them going?
Yeah, I think clearly the first thing is when a head coach leaves, there's going to be players that are happy, there's going to be players that are disappointed, and that's just the way football is, right? As a player, you either, if you're playing, you love the coach. If you're not playing, you don't like the coach. And understanding that context of where the group was at was important, and also saying like, this is an opportunity for you guys. Some players who have been brought in that maybe haven't played as much as they wanted. Like, this is a fresh slate almost, and it's that was my message to the players, and looking for some energy, as I said, a little bit more enjoyment as well. When you lose games and you go through difficult periods in the season, like sometimes you can forget the purpose of why you started playing football, why we play football is to win games. I think the players, that's a lesson this year for the players as well, is that the importance of winning. Like, of course, we want to develop and we want to get a better team and play in a certain way. And yeah, you can also measure winning that way as well. But winning games is important, and we have to speak about that a lot as well.
Just finally from me, do you think we'll be able to see sort of a Jack Wilshere imprint on the team in 2 games, or have you almost got to you got to sort of put results first at this point?
Yeah, no, I think let's not forget, Yanz did some outstanding work, and some of the football that we've seen this year has been amazing. Of course, as I said, results are important, and we don't want to get away from that. But I'd like to see a team that is hungry, first of all, is hungry to prove maybe a few people wrong, to prove that we're here, and like, games are important. Whether we can go up or we can't go up, or we can get relegated, we can't get relegated, we are where we are. But the best thing for a player is always the next game, and to put yourself in a position where people are speaking positive about it.
Right. Thanks very much. I can't believe I said welcome to Norwich. Complete
Right, who's going next, Paddy?
Yeah, can do. Jack, hello. Paddy Davitt from the Pinken, the local paper. Appreciate, I mean, it's obviously been a manic few days for you, so thanks for your time first and foremost. But you've already given your reaction to when you heard the news about Yanz and Glenn. I just wondered, have you had a chance maybe to reach out to them, or is that something you would look to do when it calms down a little bit?
Yeah, I've spoken to Glenn, and I will speak to Yanz, of course. I had a really good relationship with Yanz. Respected him a lot. I think he had some really good ideas about the game and taught me some things. So yeah, I think let the dust settle a little bit before I speak to Yanz.
I mean, you said obviously then you got the call from Ben. And did you have, even though we know clearly that you're on this journey and you've been very open about that, but did you, when you got that call, have to think about it to when you were asked to take these 2 games?
No.
Straight away.
No, yeah. I think maybe some of you will know me or don't know me. Dan knows me. I work with Dan at Bournemouth, and I'd like to think people would think that I like to take things if there's an opportunity and almost think about it later and get things sorted like that. But yeah, I'm a hungry individual, and I made it clear from the day I started coaching 2-3 years ago that I want to be a head coach. So if you get an opportunity given in front of you, I wanted to take it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? Because you know yourself, you've been in football a long time, that sometimes the timing isn't maybe perfect, and maybe things come out of the blue, and you have to be ready to take it on, and that maybe is how you feel about the events of the last few days.
Yeah, and I think that's clear, right? I spoke with TalkSport yesterday, and I said about the if I'd have said 7 months ago about me being Norwich interim head coach playing against Aaron Ramsey's Cardiff, like, this football is crazy. I think this is sort of my first experience that as a coach. Of course, as a player, I was quite fortunate where I had a head coach in Arsene Wenger for years and years, and I moved on and experienced a little bit of change, and it's completely different as a player. But yeah, I think everyone knows football is eventful and anything can happen.
I mean, you mentioned a figure like Arsene Wenger. I mean, have you just, and again, it might not have had an opportunity yet so far, have you sought advice from any of the people you really trust in the game in these last few days?
Yeah, of course. And I think part of going on this journey of becoming a better leader, becoming a better coach, is you have to seek advice from, and you have to have the humility to be able to do that, because I'm sat in a position now as Norwich interim head coach where I'd be crazy not to reach out to people that have been in a similar situation, that have been a head coach, that are on the journey that I am, and yeah, of course I have.
I mean, you obviously preempted the question, the inevitable question about whether you fancy the job on a more permanent basis, but you clearly feel at this stage you are ready if that scenario played out in the months ahead.
Yeah, as I said, I think I wouldn't have, like, when I first started coaching, and I've seen ex-teammates of mine have a different journey, but I was pretty clear with mine. I wanted to go back to Arsenal. I wanted to go with the under-18s. I wanted to experience leading a group of staff. And as soon as I went in there, I've openly said it, I knew that I had a lot to learn, and I was really aware of that. And I didn't want to have that situation where you leave too early and you jump to be a head coach. I had a few different pathways I had mapped out in my head, and one of them was to become an assistant. And I only wanted to do that when I was ready and felt like I could have an impact with first team players. And yeah, I feel like I am now.
I mean, clearly the brief in the short term is these 2 games. I mean, do you see it yourself as an audition for you, or you don't want to bring that pressure that maybe comes with that you've got to, almost in these 2 weeks really show that you could potentially be a candidate?
I think it's important for me to send a message, and that the players feel that this is not about me. This is not about Jack Wilshere at Norwich. This is about the players feeling in a place where they can perform. I think performances have dropped off for many different reasons, but yeah, when it happens like that, and then the manager goes, it can be a tough place. So yeah, my job was to lift the players and focus on the next 2 games rather than think about, this is an audition, I want the team to do this. There's, of course, like I see the game in a certain way, but where we're at, it's important that the players feel like they're good players, because they are. We've got some good players, exciting players, and can hurt oppositions.
And I'm talking of the players, I mean, when you got them all together, obviously I think the majority were off on the Tuesday, but when you got them in on Wednesday, what was you've already talked maybe about the hunger element, you want to see that. What was more broadly the message into the players when you had them all there in front of you?
Yeah, I think the majority of that conversation should remain private, but you're right, like the energy, we asked for energy, we asked for smiles on faces, and like, as I said, it's a completely mixed group there emotionally. Like, you have some players that will feel responsible, you have some players that would see it as an opportunity, like I said, and I think you have to respect that. You have to respect that in that moment, and yeah, it was important that I spoke to the players and I addressed the players and gave them a few things to focus on this week, but then also that we gave them some time, and we did. We had a really good day Tuesday where a lot of the players recovered and got out of the building. Some players trained a little bit, then got out of the building, and that was the focus. And then get to Friday and see where we're at.
I think, paraphrasing, but you may have touched on in that TalkSport sort of interview about maybe you've got a sense the atmosphere hasn't been great around the place, which is probably stating the obvious with the results. But is that something you feel you can affect in these next 2 weeks, just to lift everybody?
Yeah, I'll try. I think that's a consequence for me of results, and you'd have been in many press conferences where you'd have had a similar feeling, and like it just feels a little bit different when results aren't. And that's why I said before about speaking about winning and focusing on winning and winning games and talking about it, because yeah, we can talk about development, and I'm a big believer in that. I'm a big believer that players need to get better and better within a certain style, but if you don't win games, you don't get that opportunity. So yeah, that's the focus.
Talking of the style, I mean, you said it right at the outset, there was, in terms of how you see the game, not that dissimilar to Glenn and Johannes, and you've only got really these 2 games, so we're not going to see, it's fair to say, a radical shift in the style of play or the demands you place on the players. Would that be fair?
I think, listen, when you're like you mentioned, you're the start of a project, of a strategy, the starting point is really important, because that shapes everything. That shapes the players you have, the players you recruit, the players you want to go after. And I think we've got players that are technically good footballers. So of course, Johannes wanted to dominate the ball. I see the game in the same way. Maybe a few different things, but yeah, in general, very similar.
Just how's the coaching dynamic working with Tony and Nick? I mean, are they more or less doing the roles they were doing, or have you had to sort of, because obviously you're two bodies down effectively? How's that played out?
I think we just, to be honest with you, we've all just sort of come together. We understood the focus. We understood the job we needed to do, and we've all done a bit of everything. Honestly, we've had some support from Joe from the 21s, and from Dec Rudd from the 21s, and I think one thing when these type of things happen, you see this happen all the time, and the one thing that I think gets players, gets clubs, is unity, and having a group of staff of players that can come together, understand what we need to do, and deliver it, and that's what we're trying to do.
We'll move off you and your future, because I'm sure you're probably sick now of asking questions about that, but just actually onto the game and the squad. So if I can just throw a few of the names at you, is Gunny back involved this weekend?
Gunny's been back training. He had a baby. Congratulations to him. And he's been back training. Yeah,
so he's available for selection. Yeah. What about Ante Cernach? Sort of Yannis indicated maybe round about this period he might be okay for selection.
Yeah, Ante's doing well. He's doing well. I think he surprised a few a lot because of the nature of the injury. The medical team have done really well to get him into this position. It might be a little bit too soon for him, but he's doing well.
Yeah, and obviously, again, the way Yannis had played it out with Matej Jurasek, that you might need to go and get some extra scans, and then you'd be able to have a better idea whether he can come back in for these two games. Is there any update on that?
I think with Matej, like my feeling, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we just need to be a little bit calm. Like he's obviously a player that we invested in on a 5-year contract who will be a really good player for this club. He's adapting to the league, he's adapting to the intensity. I know he's played one game, but the intensity in training is different as well. So he's doing okay, Matty, and we just need to keep building with him and be a little bit patient.
And in terms of that though, is he available for selection this weekend, or is he still in that process where you, day by day almost?
It's day by day with Matty.
Yeah. And I don't know how you are in terms of giving too many clues away, but is there any other sort of fitness-related, injury-related issues we might not be aware of? Obviously, the ones we know about.
None I can think of. I've got a bit of a tight calf before the marathon.
Yeah.
That's it.
Are you out?
I can't even think, Paddy. No, I don't think there is, to be honest. No.
Okay. And then, obviously, in front of you is Middlesbrough, and inevitably there'll be the Michael Carrick thing, as you touched on. I'm sure it'll be you and Aaron next week. I mean, what I wanted to ask you about, is he a guy you've looked at, followed his coaching journey, saw maybe sort of pathways you could almost emulate a little bit, and how do you assess how he's done so far? Because he's been in there quite a number of seasons now.
I think he's done well. I think there was a little bit of noise around him this season, earlier this season, and to come through that as a young coach. And I like the way he's gone about it. I like the way Middlesbrough play football. You can see what they're trying to do. They're very organised. Probably a little bit like he was as a player. What a top player, dominated the ball, and he sees it how he sees it. And he is someone that I looked at. Again, an ex-teammate who's taken a step. I'd be stupid not to look at someone like that.
That was quite a mad game down there, wasn't it? The 3-3 game.
First game.
Was that your very first game? Yeah. I bet you thought it was like that every week. Yeah. What did you make of them close up that day? Because by common consent, they were probably one of the better sides to come to Carrick.
Yeah. Well, that was my first game, and I actually remember Yannis saying that after the game they were one of the best teams. Obviously, I didn't have much context of that because I hadn't been there. But they were good. They had some good players, technical players, and I think the score was 3-1, right? And then they missed a penalty. Yeah, so that tells you it was going to be a difficult game. We understand what we're going into. We understand the position they're in as well. We have a clear understanding of what we have to do.
Yeah, and on that point, as you say, it's about you and focus and your team. But I think they're now probably in a situation with the playoff picture. They probably need to win tomorrow. Really, Do you think that could lead to quite an open type of game?
Well, I think, like you said, that's important context for us to understand and can decide when we're thinking about the type of game that we want to deliver. That has to come into it, of course. Maybe they're gonna have to go and step out and really make a game and try and get all 3 points. So it could create that situation.
Just a couple more from me if I can, Jack. How do you think you wake up in the morning tomorrow and that is that is a new experience for you, and you've been in the game a long time and had a lot of experiences. How do you think you'll feel? And then obviously as you get into sort of countdown to 3 o'clock.
Yeah, you know, when I got the phone call from Ben, there was like this nervousness, excited feeling, and to be honest with you, Paddy, probably haven't had that since I made my debut or I went through a new team and was playing. So yeah, that excited, nervous, of course, all the natural things that will happen to a human being. But yeah, I think just like, you try and use that energy to focus and give it to the players, and hopefully they can feel my excitedness and go for it.
Just final one, I mean, irrespective of the result tomorrow, I mean, what do you want this weekend to be in terms of a team going out there representing you, representing Norwich, representing them fans?
Yeah, I want to see a team that's hungry, as I said, that plays with purpose. We understand that the game of football is to score more goals than the opposition and to play forward and to run forward and be aggressive in duels. And yeah, sometimes when it's tough as well, when you've been through a tough time, that's how you get back. And that's how you heard the saying in football, you have to earn the right to get the ball, and you do. You have to run hard, you have to win your duels, and then be good on the ball when you're able to get it.
Thanks, good luck tomorrow. Good luck Sunday as well.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paddy.